people get the definition of the problem wrong. And because they get the definition of the problem wrong, they also get the solution wrong. And they get the definition of the problem wrong because they tend to treat a whole world of problems that might otherwise be called adaptive as if they were technical. So they treat problems that are adaptive, that require learning and that require engaging people, as if they were technical and prone to expertise. But what I'd like to put to you is that being able to take that step back and to start off by understanding what the difference is between those challenges will save you an awful lot of time. It'll allow you to plan more effectively, to put the right number of people to an engagement that you're trying to do. But more importantly than that, particularly in the world of adaptive challenges, it'll allow you the freedom to be able to allow for questioning, for experimentation, for innovation, which is a much more effective compass when you're dealing with navigating the politics of human systems. So what then is a technical problem, and what is an adaptive challenge? So a technical problem is something that has a known origin. It's something that you can understand. You can see what the problem is. A child comes to the hospital and they have a broken arm. The doctor fixes it. A house is on fire. You pick up the phone and you call 911, and the fire brigade turns up with a big red truck and they put the fire out. Your phone breaks. You can take it somewhere, and somebody will fix it for you. These problems have known solutions, and you can outsource the problem to an expert who will fix it for you. Just before we started this morning, you all had breakfast out there. That used to be an adaptive challenge. Many an ancestor felt ill after having eaten a poisonous mushroom or poisoned berry. But you didn't even have to think about it. The food was ready when you were. It was at the appropriate temperature, hot or cold. You even had choices. There's a whole infrastructure, a whole system of people outside of this room who made sure that that berry could be on your plate this morning, looking bright and juicy and red. Waiters, chefs, growers, farmers. There's a whole network of people outside of this room who technically made sure that that was possible for you. Okay, so what then is an adaptive challenge, and how does that differ from a technical problem? Well, an adaptive challenge tends to consist of a gap between a current reality and an aspiration, which is where we just started. And bridging that gap is not possible with technical expertise. It tends to be the type of problem where you've tried 6, 7 different things and you've thrown so many different experts at it, and the thing just won't go away. And usually the reason it won't go away is because the work that needs to be done to bridge that gap actually lives within people. It lives within people's values, within their hearts and their minds, their beliefs, their habits, their ways of being, within organizational DNA. And bridging that gap is not something that can be outsourced. It requires you to involve the people with the problem in terms of trying to find the resolution, because in them lives the problem, but quite frankly also lives the solution. So if in trying to bridge the gap between the current and the aspired reality, the solution within a technical problem looks like a straight line, because you need to build a bridge from point A to point B. You have experts. You know how many men and women you're going to need, how many tons of steel. And if that's a straight line, you know that it's going to be completed by X date. An adaptive challenge, on the other hand, because it lives in people, has multiple faces. And trying to predict people is like trying to predict the weather. So that line looks much more like a zigzag, and it just takes more time. So if in the first scenario, you're using time and money to get from point A to point B, what you really need when you're working with adaptive challenges is to work in the hearts and the minds of people, to look at their loyalties and their really deeply held beliefs.